If you want to know the direction of the jobs market, pay attention to the Black unemployment numbers. That's not my guidance. That's the guidance from economists and experts who know much more about this than I. But let me explain. Right now, the U.S. unemployment rate is at 4.3%. We just learned that very few jobs were added in August, about 22,000. That's not good. If you were to describe this via text, you send a red alarm emoji. Now, for Black workers, the data is worse. For now, another month, the unemployment rate is going up. It's now 7.5%. That's the highest it's been since October of 2021.
My people, the numbers don't lie, and they should alarm us all. The latest jobs report shows that as of September 2025, Black unemployment has surged to 7.5%. That's not just higher than white unemployment, which sits at 3.7%. It is the highest in the nation among all racial groups. In just 3 months, more than 355,000 Black workers in the U.S. have lost their jobs. Let's pause for a minute. That's not just a statistic. That's rent that's unpaid. That's groceries not bought. That's kids watching their parents stress over bills. And for many in our community, that's also remittances not being sent back home. Money that supports families across Africa and the Caribbean. And yet, the headlines will tell you that the economy is okay. Payrolls still added jobs. Unemployment overall is 4.3%. But when you peel back the layers, the burden is not evenly shared. For Black America, this is starting to look like a crisis. So today on The Breakdown, we're asking, why are Black workers once again the first and hardest hit? What does this surge mean for our families, our communities, and our future? And what needs to change before things spiral even further? We're going to break it down, but first, please do me a favor and subscribe to our channel and tap the notification bell for alerts. Also join our membership for exclusive content and visit BlackStarsExperience.com to learn more and register for our upcoming conference in New York City. Hey there! Before we continue with the episode, I want you to quickly pause. Visit BlackStarsExperience.com and sign up for our upcoming conference in New York City this November. This is where leaders, allies, and change makers are coming together to open doors, share opportunities, and push the culture and the community forward. From our eye-opening discussions, expert-led sessions, to a career expo and networking opportunities, if you're serious about your career, your business, your future, you must be in the room. Because this is more than an event. This is a movement. It's about creating pathways for all of us to rise together. November 13th and 14th, New York City. Hey, don't just hear about it later. Be there. Secure your seat at the BlackStars Experience because your future deserves it. All right, now let's get back to the episode.
June revised down now the first month of job losses in 5 years. The president promised the golden era for America. Where is it?
I mean, ultimately, we have to just be honest and say it doesn't look good, which I know people don't expect me to say, but the reality is right now, because of all the cutbacks in the federal government, it is going to hit Black women disproportionately right now because of how much we are employed.
All right, so let's start with the numbers because context matters. Black unemployment is now at 7.5%, the highest it's been since late 2021. Compare that to white unemployment at 3.7%. That means Black workers are facing joblessness at nearly double the rate of their white counterparts. For Hispanic workers, unemployment sits at 5.3%. For Asian workers, it's even lower at 3.6%. So when we say Black unemployment is the highest in the nation, my people, that's not an exaggeration. It's the reality. And here's the kicker. In just 3 months, more than 355,000 Black workers have joined the unemployment line. That's hundreds of thousands of families suddenly trying to figure out how to make ends meet. The pain is even sharper for young people. Black teens, ages 16 to 19, are facing unemployment rates of nearly 25%. That means 1 in 4 Black teenagers looking for work can't find a job. That's not just a youth problem. That's a pipeline problem. Because if our young people can't break into the job market early, it affects their earnings and opportunities for life. Now, zooming out, the overall economy added just 22,000 jobs in August. That's way down from the strong numbers we saw earlier this year. So yes, the slowdown is hitting everyone. But history shows, and today's numbers confirm, when the economy catches a cold, Black workers are the ones to catch pneumonia. So let's dig into the why. Why does every slowdown seem to hit Black workers first, hardest, and longest? Well, part of it is the structural disadvantage. We've all heard the phrase, last hired, first fired, and sadly, it still rings true. When companies start trimming payrolls, it's often Black workers, especially younger or newer hires, who find themselves on the chopping block. Add another layer, access to opportunity. Even in sectors that are growing, healthcare, tech, clean energy, Black workers are still underrepresented, which means when those industries are booming, we're not fully at the table. And when the broader economy slows, the lack of representation in growth industries leaves Black workers more exposed to layoffs and fewer new openings. And another reason is industry concentration. Many Black workers are clustered in government, service, and support roles. These are critical jobs that keep our economy running, but they're also the ones most vulnerable when budgets get cut, hiring freezes are put in place, or demand slows down. Just think about what happens when city slashes its public workforce, or when hospitality and retail slow down. It disproportionately impacts Black families.
I want to zoom in on one important aspect of the cuts to the federal workforce that the Trump administration is beginning to carry out, and that is the jobs themselves and the people who hold them. The federal workforce is the largest employer in the nation, and federal data shows that Black Americans who have historically found greater equity in the public sector compared to the private sector will disproportionately bear the brunt of Trump's effort to gut the federal workforce. Black people are more likely to be employed by state or federal government than any other demographic. According to a Center for American Progress analysis of 2022 data from the Bureau of Labor Statistics, approximately 1 in 5 Black workers are employed in the public sector. That's not just the federal government. That's at all levels of government, and that's not an accident. The history of civil rights and the civil service are actually deeply intertwined. As early as the 1840s, some government agencies began hiring Black workers decades before slavery was abolished. The United States Postal Service was one of the earliest places that Black people could find work and climb the ranks, and opportunities expanded significantly after the Civil War during Reconstruction. Between 1916 and 1970, some 6 million Black Americans left the rural South for the urban North to escape Jim Crow laws and to find greater economic opportunity and stability. Federal jobs were accessible through merit-based civil service exams and somewhat shielded Black workers from rampant discrimination. Certainly not entirely, but it was better than the alternative in many cases. Jobs within the federal government have throughout history and today offered relatively good pay, health care, retirement security, job security, and stronger workplace protections compared to the private sector. And all of these factors made the civil service a crucial part of creating and sustaining America's Black middle class.
And that's exactly what's happening right now in Washington, D.C. With Trump's federal job cuts, thousands of Black federal workers and contractors, people who form the backbone of the Black middle class in that city, are being furloughed or laid off. For decades, government employment has been one of the most stable pathways into the middle class for Black families. But today, that very pathway is being choked off. Then add the one thing that's making things worse right now, the DEI attack. For years, diversity, equity, and inclusion programs helped push companies to recruit, train, and retain diverse talent. And it wasn't perfect, no, but it gave Black professionals a seat at the table in industries where we'd been shut out. Now, under Trump's second administration, DEI has been demonized, defunded, and dismantled. Companies are quietly overhauling or scrapping programs altogether. The result? Fewer pipelines, fewer protections, and fewer chances for Black workers to get in the door or to stay there when times get tough. That's why this moment feels different. It's not just the economy that's slowing down. It's the scaffolding that was supposed to help. DEI programs and stable federal employment being stripped away at the same time when Black workers need them the most. So what does all of this really mean for our people? Let's connect the dots. When unemployment rises by more than a percentage point for Black workers, it's not just an economic headline. That's billions of dollars in lost wages, savings that never get built, and wealth that slips further out of reach. And the racial wealth gap, already massive, only widens. For families, the impact is immediate. Rent falls behind, credit cards max out, stress levels shoot through the roof. Parents have to make impossible choices between paying the light bill or paying for their kids' college application fees. It also reverberates beyond U.S. borders. A huge portion of Black America, especially African and Caribbean immigrants, sends remittances back home to support family. So when jobs dry up here, those lifelines dry up abroad. Communities thousands of miles away feel the ripple. And then there's the long-term scar. Once unemployment stretches past 6 months, it gets harder to re-enter the workforce, harder to negotiate fair pay, harder to climb the ladder. Economists call it labor market scarring. But for us, it's not theory. It's lived reality. So the stakes are bigger than just job reports. This surge in Black unemployment is about whether families can stay afloat, whether young people can get their start, and whether entire communities, here and abroad, can hold on to the progress that they fought for. So where do we go from here? Because yes, the numbers are bleak, but they don't have to be destiny. On the policy side, this comes down to power. And power means voting. Black voters can't afford to just sit out elections, local or national, because the very policies that protect or destroy our jobs, from federal shutdowns to DEI rollbacks, are decided by the people we put or fail to put in office. Showing up at the ballot box isn't just about politics. It's about paychecks, pensions, and the future of our kids. If we don't show up, we get shutdowns, we get cuts, we get scapegoated. On the corporate side, companies need to get real about opportunity. Enough with the quiet dismantling of DEI. Open the pipelines wider, not smaller. That means skills-based hiring instead of degree-only gatekeeping, paid internships instead of unpaid exposure, and true partnerships with HBCUs and community colleges to recruit the talent that's already out there. And on the community side, we can't just wait for help from the top. We need to keep building networks of support that connect our people to opportunities, whether that's mentorship circles, job boards, or grassroots organizations running training programs. We have to strengthen the ties that hold us together. And yes, supporting Black-owned businesses, because every dollar recirculated in our community is a job saved. Bottom line, if America wants to call itself the land of opportunity, then opportunity can't keep skipping over Black workers. The crisis we're in right now is a wake-up call, but it's also a test of whether we'll show up, stand up, and demand an economy that finally works for us. Now, if you're watching this and you've been directly hit by these layoffs or are worried about your job, I want to speak to you directly because yes, the system is unfair. Yes, the numbers are daunting, but there are still moves you can make today to secure your future. So the first thing is don't isolate. Tap into networks. Talk to mentors, peers, and professional groups. This is why we created spaces like the BlackStars Experience, where leaders, allies, and innovators come together to share opportunities, There, you'll be able to connect with employers, explore new career paths, and build partnerships. These kind of spaces aren't just conferences, they're lifelines. So visit the website BlackStarsExperience.com to learn more and sign up to attend in November in New York City. Secondly, invest in your skills. This is a moment to retool. Whether it's short-term certifications in healthcare, clean energy, or digital skills, stackable credentials can open doors faster than traditional degrees. If you're between jobs, training can turn downtime into preparation for the next wave. Third, don't sleep on entrepreneurship, my people, because history tells us that downturns can be fertile ground for innovation. In fact, after the 1999-2000 recession, the U.S. saw a massive rise in entrepreneurship, new companies, new ventures, new ideas that reshaped entire industries. For many, a layoff became the spark that pushed them to finally launch that business they've been dreaming about. In our community, we need that boom again. Black-owned businesses are not just survival strategies. They're engines of wealth, job creation, and independence. Finally, think community. This isn't just about individual hustle. Partner up, collaborate, and build together. Sometimes the best ideas don't start solo. They start when you and a friend pool your skills and create something new. The bottom line is, if you've been impacted, this can be a moment of reinvention. It's painful, yes, but it can also be the push that turns a setback into the foundation for a new chapter. So here's what I want to leave you with, my people. Black unemployment is now the highest in the nation. And while the headlines might downplay it, we know the truth. It's not just numbers, it's lives, families, and futures. But every crisis is also a choice point. Do we let this moment push us further to the margins? Or do we use it to demand change, build new pathways, and support each other like never before? Now I want to hear from you. If you've been impacted, how are you navigating it? And if you're hiring, please drop your opportunities in the comments. And if you're building something new, a business, a side hustle, a community project, share it. Because someone watching might be your first customer or your next partner. You never know. This is what I love about the Breakdown family. We don't just talk about problems. We build solutions together. So sound off in the comments. Share this episode with someone who needs to hear it. And remember, setbacks don't define us. It's how we rise from them that tells the real story. That's it for today's show. Thanks so much for watching. I'm Sandra Babu-Boateng, and until next time, take care. Hey you! Thanks so much for watching this episode. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, don't forget to subscribe and join the family. Also, visit face2faceafrica.com for your daily news and updates on what's going on within the global Black community so you can stay informed.